Hey, everybody. Come on. I found it. The show's about to start.
I'm Rod Harder, and he's Vinny Dappio, and you're listening to the Specialty Marketing Consultants Profit Lab podcast.
Hey, everybody. This is Rod Harder with Specialty Marketing Consultants. Welcome back to our third podcast. And
oh, my goodness. And I'm Vinny Dappio right here with him. And this is the third one, huh?
I didn't even get a chance to introduce you. You beat me to the punch.
I just got on the line. I saw you were on the air, and I said, I'm going to surprise this putz.
So
I'm just going to jump in on him.
So here we are. We're on the third podcast. And as we have said from the get-go, this is going to be all about good content-rich information. Our goal is to not be one of those Ambien-type podcasts where after 3 or 4 minutes you want to go to sleep.
Yeah, and also, you know, if I could just, before we get started, everybody is going to get used to hearing in the beginning of these things, what we're going to tell you about is important and this, and, you know, each individual subject is extremely important because you could use any of the subjects individually in the way you market or advertise today.
Right.
But once you put them all together,
right,
that's the niche. That's what a lot of folks aren't doing. And I want to keep that up front in every podcast if we could, buddy, that what we're listening to today is extremely good, content-rich information that someone is going to find a very good use for. It's not going to be for all. But if you take all of the modules, and now, instead of just being in a raft, you're now on a yacht because you put all the pieces together. That's what I just want to make up front every podcast.
And the energy from each piece works, like a puzzle, piece to a puzzle. When it all fits, you've got a big, powerful business there. The fortunate thing for me is over the years, my other business, The Copy Wizard, I write copy. I've been writing copy for lots of businesses, mostly within the Kennedy Glazer Inner Circle, which is an international organization of small business owners. And I built my business marketing and getting to know the people in that circle. And you know, Vinny, the reason I've done that is they get it. These people have already been taught by industry giants about the value of direct response marketing and the power of writing with personality. But what I have found amazing is all these people are doing the things that you and I are talking about, and I've been blessed to write copy for a lot of them, and I'm amazed that every one of them are doing the same things.
Well, here's the proof in the pudding, buddy. How did you build your customer base? By using these techniques to attract them to your copywriting business.
And it's so easy to talk about it because I've watched one example after the other of people working and growing their businesses, a lot of them in small markets and a lot of them in niches that you wouldn't think they'd have a chance of having a big operation. So the principles are there. They've been tested and proven for more than 100 years. Today we're going to talk about one of the big giants of growing any business, large or small, lead generation.
Oh, let the trumpets blow. Here's today's subject.
So lead generation comes in a lot of flavors, and I know people outside of our circle, some people are used to hopping on the internet and buying leads, realtors, insurance agents. They've unfortunately been led down this path that they think buying leads is the way to go, and that's what lead generation is. It's nothing like that.
You know, people would be surprised. First of all, if you put 100 people in a room and ask that one question, what is lead generation? I guarantee you 90 of them couldn't answer it.
No, they really can't.
Because there's such a misperception of what lead generation means. You know,
right.
It's not a question of you buying a list of 3,000 names. You know, it's like what we talked about in the other podcast, buddy. They want you to throw that huge net over that huge market and hope you get a couple of minnows with it.
Right.
And they call that results. Well,
right.
That's not what we're talking about as far as lead generation.
No, you control your business at such a different level. And the mistake that businesses make, the big ones, the small ones, you name the industry, and they go out there and they spend all this money on a radio ad, or they do it in the newspaper, or they put their ads in publications. And every single one of them, they do two things. Number one, they look alike because they've got some silly coupon in the ad. And they say, we're cutting prices today. You got to come down. And that's the model they use. But nobody, if you look at 100 ads, you'll never see a lead generation attraction magnet that businesses should be using. So that's what we're going to talk about. What they are, how it works, how you would implement them.
Now, also, don't misunderstand what my learned colleague just said. Newspaper ads, there's a reason why newspapers still sell ads, because they work. Radio spots, TV spots, they work. However, they work in a saturation market. If you're a plumber, the only reason why someone might answer your ad, your radio spot, or your Yellow Pages quarter page is because they're looking for a plumber. And now let me just go a little bit deeper into that. A newspaper, for example. They buy a newspaper not for the ads in it, but because of the headlines and information they're going to get. However, along the way, scanning through that newspaper, ads are going to hit them subliminally or blatantly.
Right.
And all of a sudden, if they see an ad for cosmetics, that reminds me, I need lipstick. So ads very rarely are something that people look at as information, but they look at as a need thing.
Right.
When you start putting some lead generation in your ad will still be there to catch their eye, but you're also going to give them something that gives them a call to action to respond to you.
Right. And if your business is such that you have an inexpensive product or service that's only going to cost a few dollars for people to get, you may not need a lead generation magnet or lead generation system. But if you sell an expensive product or you provide an expensive service, only about 5 to 10% of the people looking at your ad or getting that postcard in the mail or that letter in the mail are in the market to get what you're asking them to make a decision on. The rest of them need to be cultivated. They need to be assisted and a relationship built. So how do you do that? Well, the way a lead generation program works, or a lead generation system works, is you put something attractive out there that matches your target audience. So if you're going to do something out there, and let's say you're a financial planner and you're trying to attract clients, most financial planners use the old business model. What do? They put an ad in the paper and they tell people, come on down for a dinner and we're going to have this real nice steak dinner, and then you're going to be presented with some sort of a sales presentation. That's an old trick. But if you look at any financial planner, they still do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that well. But everybody's looking at everybody else, and they're copying each other. A lead generation system completely changes that paradigm. So you've got an ad in a newspaper, or you've got you're marketing to a select list. You're providing people with a opportunity for them to get education, where they're going to see something that is of importance to them, or they want to learn more about. You make it to where it's so attractive you could almost charge for it, but you're going to give it to them for free. And you tell them what's in it and how they're going to learn all the valuable things that they're going to get out of it, and tell them they can have it for free. All they have to do is give you their email.
And guess what? You not only generated a lead at this point, you now have a database that, let's say you're that plumber. And nobody really needed a plumber, but they breezed through the ads, and something caught their eye in your ad about getting something for free, because what do people like, Rod?
They like stuff for free.
There you go.
Give me
and
something of value
for
for
catches your eye. That person may not need a plumber today. However, you now have their name, and you know as well as I do and all the other plumbers that someday they're going to need a plumber. Well, guess what? You're now going to have a targeted audience of that one person that every few months you're going to send them a little something. Hey, how you been? And you might hit them on the month where they say, the darn toilet's not flushing right. Wait a minute. Edgar here, he's been in touch with me. Let me call him. Now, you tell me that's not a qualified lead. You find me a mail order house that's going to send you a list of 3,000 leads that'll give you a guarantee like that.
Sure. One thing you're doing is you're bringing a tremendous amount of value to somebody who is about to pull the trigger or may be thinking about doing something in the coming months. And you're not selling them, you're educating them. You're going from a pest to a welcomed guest because you're not pitching them on what you want to sell. You're attracting them because you're giving them help. You're that advisor. You're the problem solver.
There you go. The guest, not the pest. You said it right the first time.
Yeah, and I always tell my clients that a well-written report or it doesn't have to be a report. It can be an audio CD. It can be a pamphlet of some sort. But if you write it in a way that is friendly and personable and engaging, those people reading that start to loosen up a little bit. They take down that resistance and the trust factor goes up, and they start to say, wow, there's no heavy pitch here. They're just helping me.
And remember in the beginning how we reiterated where these are like so important little pieces, but when you start putting them together, they really work phenomenally?
Yep.
You can make your giveaway your newsletter.
Oh, exactly.
We talked how important about a newsletter was, right?
Right.
This is something you can end up, not to get them the giveaway for your lead generation, but once you have them, every month, send them a copy of your newsletter with the soft sell that we talked about. It has nothing to do about your business, but it's brought to you by your business.
I tell clients all the time that they should never leave anything they do empty, like the back of their business card or anything that they send out to their clients where the back of the page is blank. That's the perfect opportunity to put information, testimonials. You can announce your report there. I've seen people where they have their report announced on the back of their business card. The point of this whole discussion is anything that you're doing in the way of marketing, you can add your lead generation box, you're in the corner of your newsletter, any correspondence that you have with people. The client that you're talking to right now may not need what you have, but they may be a friend to somebody who might need the lead generation tool that you have.
And listen to what you're building right here, Rod. You're putting in the foundation, the ground floor on people actually creating their own lead list. It's got to grow. It cannot do anything but grow.
And while we're not going to talk in depth about autoresponders, they go together, because once you get a lead, when you can completely automate your email system after somebody requests their free report off your website or you mail it to them, you're going to have that email. And the power of that email, if you have that email a part of an auto sequence, which is an automated email system, you write the emails one time and they keep going out whenever you ask or whenever you tell the system to do it. And around the clock, 24 hours a day, you're building a rapport with people, all those people who did not want what you were putting an ad out there for the first time, who didn't need what you were advertising right then, but they saw your report and they said, hey, I'll get this education. And now you are just giving all kinds of help and value to them. And by the time that they want to buy, they're predisposed to doing business with you because they trust you.
You opened up your statement, Rod, with a very valid point, because we were talking about how, now you get their email address or you send a newsletter or once a month. But first thing that would have popped into my head was, who the hell has the time to do that? And you chime right in with There's autoresponders. There are companies that will do it behind the scenes for you. Now, you talk about making lead generation easy. Guess what else it does? It gets you to that third pillar we talk about. It helps you keep them as your clients because you stay in touch with them. You've given them the human touch.
Yes, and you just said something that I think is the backbone of our business that we haven't mentioned in this podcast, is there are 3 parts to our business, and there should be 3 parts to every successful business, large or small. You should have a system that attracts the kind of people that you want to do business with, and if it's written and done right, it will repel the people you don't want to do business with and let them go somewhere else. You don't want the tire kickers and the looky-loos. You want people who are going to convert into high-quality prospects, customers, or patients, depending on your business. Then, once you get them attracted to you, you want to put a system in place that converts them into a customer or a client. Then,
yours, exactly.
That's right. And then the third part of that, which is equally as important, is putting that imaginary fence around the herd that you've built, those raving fans, those loyal customers and prospects that now you're doing things with and for on a regular basis, and they want to be with you. They do want to be, because you're paying attention to them. And in life, all we want is someone to tell us that they care about us.
Well, that's the keep 'em portion, buddy. And
that's
you know
right.
the stats on it. The stats are there that prove it costs a company or business 6 to 7 times more to find a new customer than to retain an old customer.
Exactly.
And you know, as equally important as those 3 pieces of the puzzle are, I think one of the most valuable ends of it, of course, you're going to attract them, and you're going to give them that carrot and that jewel, and you're going to convert them because you're going to send them something every month or every quarter or every week if you have the time, and you'll be in their mind, and then you're going to keep them. And
exactly.
All you want to do is grow that base of keep them.
And as you listen to this, don't let it overwhelm you, because when you hear all these new things that you immediately your mind says, oh my goodness, I couldn't possibly do all this. I don't have the horsepower to get it done. What I recommend is what your business needs most, and work on that. Work on that system. If it takes you 30, 60, or 90 days to put it together, do it. And then go on to the next system, which is something that you can put in place to convert those people once you attract them. Or maybe your business is you do a good job of those 2 things, but you don't keep them. So we've got all the systems on our website. We've got all the information, a whole bunch of free things, modules, free reports.
Oh, tutorials?
We've got audios that you can listen to in addition to this podcast. So the tools are there. You have choices, too. You can
and it's
do
free.
It's all free. It's all free. And you can do this stuff yourself. You can lean on us for a little help. We have resources on our website to help you get some direction for third-party outsourcing. So really there are no excuses. And I believe the only reason a business suffers is because, well, there's 2 reasons. One, they're apathetic. Or 2, they just lack education. And I think if you're apathetic, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. And for those that want a little help, you're getting it right here.
And if you're hearing a lot of enthusiasm, folks, it's not hype. This is stuff that could really light that fire for you, because once it kicks into gear, it almost becomes perpetual and behind the scenes. The next thing you know, your customer base is doubled. I got to let you know, Rob, we're going to toot our horn a little bit here, buddy. I'm going to toot your horn.
Sure.
Every other Tuesday, Rod and Rod basically goes out and conducts. He's a mentor now at UCF. Da-da-da-da-da. You didn't mention that, did you, buddy?
No.
You don't like blowing your own horn, do you?
No.
Well, anyway, my esteemed colleague here on the other mic was chosen to be a University of Central Florida, has different programs, medicine, business, law, and whatever, and they have mentors in each different category. However, they were lacking a mentor in the marketing category, and my distinguished colleague was selected, and he is now the mentor for the marketing division of University of Central Florida here in the Daytona campus. And what they've done is he's hooked up every other Tuesday. He goes to UCF and holds a 2-hour free open session. What are you doing in your business? Do you need any marketing tips? Where can we help you? Free. Well, yesterday, a young couple from Palm Coast came in. I'm going to use his name. It was Jason Temple. And he owns a company called Flagler Clean. What they do is cleaning and restoration of homes. And they were sitting there for 2 hours glued and writing and taking. They left there so pumped and enthused. I got a funny feeling this gentleman, we're going to be hearing more about their company in the next 6 months.
I agree, and it was so nice because they were there as a couple, and they were enthusiastic. He had a small taste of marketing awareness anyway, direct response marketing, but he told me after we had our 2-hour meeting, he said, I don't know what it was, but just by fate, I saw that advertisement in on the internet for a meetup group. I responded, and it really, the whole way home, he said, my wife and I just talked all about the opportunities that we have ahead of us to learn this stuff. So it's very gratifying, and he's just an example of tens of thousands, if not millions, of small business owners who will benefit from this. And yes, if you do it, you will separate yourself from your competitors. I've watched it happen in 75 different niches, from the professional service industry to, every other line of work and profession you can imagine. This is not hyperbole. This is all tested and proven stuff that works.
And I hope we kind of drove home the point about doing, having you're still going to run those great ads that you run, but you're now going to look at running them a different way as far as the copy you use and lead generation. You hate to say what's more important than the other. Imagine if you had to go out and hire a sales force and do cold calls and knocking on doors, or depending on these huge, ambiguous mailing lists that you could purchase out there on the internet, or by simply changing the copy you're paying for anyhow, and having it read where I'm going to be giving you something of value for nothing. It may not even have anything to do with your plumbing business. I'm going to give you a report from the FDA on the worries of mold that may occur under your sink or something.
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't have to be about, let me auger your toilet. It just has to be something that they will find valuable, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You're paying for the ad anyhow. If you're writing your own copy, we want you to start writing it this way and see how it works. If someone's writing copy for you, ask them, do you know how to write my copy with some lead generation tactics in it?
Basically, we call it writing with personality.
There you go.
Because your clients and prospects do not want to do business with the business. They want to do business with another human being. Yeah. And anyway, we'll get into more of that at another time. But
this was nice.
Yeah,
you know what, folks? Thank you. You charged us up.
I'm going to put a plug in for something that's going to be coming up. We've got, as you might imagine, there are so many subjects that fall under the direct response marketing umbrella, copywriting to many, many different things, how to market and take your clients and prospects online, how to get them offline, mailing lists, you name it. But in a couple of weeks, I just want to whet your appetite, because in a couple of weeks, we're going to be interviewing a 2,000-year-old business owner, and he's going to tell us all of the things that he's doing in his business and why and how he's been left behind. I think you're going to find it a lot of fun, and you might have a few laughs, but in the meantime, you'll get a heck of an education.
Well, hey, folks, thanks for listening. I don't know about you guys, but I get a lot out of doing these things. It's a feel-good broadcast.
They are feel-good broadcasts, and there's a lot of energy in it. It's just like the meetings we have every couple of weeks. It's fun to help. It's fun to have that interaction with people. So we'll bid you a farewell today. Don't forget to mark your calendars. We're going to be, as you know, we're going to have a podcast a week. So by now you should be looking at iTunes and seeing that there are plenty more there for you to choose from. But don't forget, in a couple of weeks, that special show that we have for you. Take care.
Okay, kid. I'll be listening, I promise.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.